Unless you're a 90-year-old Russian spy, you have no business owning this gun. Just kidding, you guys. Mosins are pretty cool. So this is a Mosin Nagant. It is a period correct version. The owner of this gun has put a lot of time and effort into making it you know, as realistic as the guns were at that time. With one exception on this, that the scope mount here probably would have been an offset mount to the side, but other than that, this gun is period specific. So my plan today is to give you a little bit of history, which I'll roll in with some B-roll over the top of it, and then I'm going to stretch this out. I'm here at Gadsden Shooting Center in Missouri. I'm going to get it initially zeroed at 100 yards, which I'm told it already is, but I think I'm running different ammo through it. So I'm going to initially zero it, and then we're going to stretch it out in 100-yard increments and just see how far we can shoot things with this Mosin Nagant.
First things first, let's talk about a little history on these Mosin Nagants, just because it's somewhat interesting, you know. So these things, you know, were in service back in the late 1800s, like 1877, 1878 was like the Russo-Ottoman War. So in that war, the Russian coalition had, you know, a lot less manpower than the Turks, and you know, Turks had a number of advantages in weaponry over the Russians, but the Russians were better fighters, and you know, they ended up winning. But in the end, they were really burdened by their single-shot rifles that they had back then, and it was like a 10.7 by 58 millimeter cartridge. For the Russians, they started looking into developing a different you know, repeating rifle of some kind, and what they came up with was some trials, you know, some tests in about 1889, and they had different guns submitted, and you know, kind of like the AK and all that kind of stuff. They had military officers design their weapons, and in this sense, they had a number of different guys, but the one obviously that we're interested in is Captain Sergei Ivanovich Mosin of the Imperial Army for Russia, and submitted his 3-line rifle. Now, if you're not familiar with the history, 3 lines, one line was equivalent to 2.54 millimeters, so 2.54 times 3 equals 7.62 or 30 caliber, so a 3-line rifle. So Mosin introduced his 3-line rifle, and then there was another designer, a Belgian guy, Leon Nagant, submitted a 3.5 line rifle, or a 35 caliber. So after a couple of years of testing, they still didn't really have a clear choice, a clear design. But the Nagant design was the most intriguing to them, and so they did another round of testing, and at the end of that testing, the Mosin Nagant rifle won out, and you know, became the standard issue for the Russian military. And the Mosin design obviously borrows a little bit from like the Mauser 98 and from the Lee Enfield, you know, but for the most part, this became the go-to Russian weapon. So the Mosin Nagant, you know, became known as the Model 1891. Fed from a single column 5-round magazine attached to the receiver. It's just a floor plate, can be opened, you know, via the latch on the bottom. It was chambered in 7.62 by 54, 7.62 by 53 finish, 7.92 by 57 Mauser. You know, it pretty much stayed the 7.62 by 54 on through history. So the Mosin's, you know, actual diameter is a .312. Bullet weight is about 170 grains back then. Muzzle velocity from a 29-inch barrel was around 2,600 feet per second. And as I said, it kind of put that somewhere, you know, between the 308 and the 30-06 as far as, you know, downrange potency. Yeah, back then anyway, it had a pretty good reputation for accuracy. and became a widely used sniper rifle. There was even a bayonet that could be attached by placing it actually in the barrel of the gun, from what I understand, for close range fighting if that happened. The receiver is blued, and then of course the bolt was just left in the white. It's interesting, I guess, to note that you know, throughout history, there's probably 37 million of these copies of the model 1891 made over 127 different years. You know, everybody from the Russians to the Czechs and the Chinese, Hungarians, Romanians, Americans even. Everybody produced this rifle. It's a pretty prolific battle rifle if you think about it. I guess it's been, according to American Rifleman, it has seen service in no less than 38 wars and conflicts during its history. So that's pretty impressive. It's been a popular surplus rifle. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen it in surplus barrels. Back when I was younger, you'd see barrels of these old guns just sitting in the gun store, and you could pick them up for like, you know, $30 or $40. And now you're looking at anywhere from, say, $250 for the junk ones on up to like $1,000 for really good ones. This is a pretty interesting old sniper rifle, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed the little bit of history there. Go ahead and continue to watch for the rest of the video for the performance downrange.
All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this thing on paper at 100 yards down here. I'm told it kicks like a mule, so I'm not really looking forward to that. But I am using the Tool Ammo 148 grain full metal jacket for their ammo. It's the only ammo I've got. This isn't an ammo test, so I'm not, you know, fishing around with different ammos trying to figure out what shoots best. I'm gonna make sure that it's zeroed with this, and then I'm gonna stretch it out for you. I will say also, this rear stock is so low that I can't even get a cheek weld on it. Like, I can't even put my chin on it. I wasn't planning for that, and I've got nothing to kind of raise that up or bolster that up a little bit. So we're just gonna have to hope I can be somewhat consistent. Gosh, racking that bolt, there's no way to be consistent with this thing. You got to completely come off the gun to move it. Well, guys, having a real hard time figuring out where my zero is. I spent about 30 rounds trying to figure this out so far, and so far, best I can tell, I've got about a 3 MOA rifle. So I'm not too hopeful for these long-range shots, but I've got some targets down there out to about 600 yards. I've got a 100, or I've got a 200 and a 300 yard steel, and then I've got a 500 and a 600 yard steel. So we're just gonna sling it at a couple of these, and we'll see what we get. It's all holdovers because I don't know what the scope subtends to. So we're just winging it today. That one went way over the target. Guys, I don't like to admit that I might have to quit on this one. I'm just gonna cut the video short and go home frustrated because there's not a whole lot else I can tell you about this thing. The accuracy sucked on this particular rifle. 3 MOA group at 100 yards. I hit 1 out of about 10 shots at 300, and we're calling her quits. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more great videos from Precision Rifle Network.